Yo, all indications are that Dr. Ronnie Jackson is a native of Staten Island. Dyze in your house.
Nobody likes me. Nobody likes me. But that's okay, cause I don't like y'all anyway. Man, I don't like y'all anyway.
We need to pay attention to all this stuff. And don't muddy the waters. Don't let your mind get sidetracked. Because you need to remember that when, it's going to be time to vote again soon. So it's going to be local elections, all this stuff, everything, all these elections. You have to remember that the Republicans would rather collude with Russians than collude with Americans.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing them dust blunt.
Donald Trump is a white supremacist who enables white supremacists. No lie. I mean, that's accurate. It's an accurate assessment of the situation.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing them dust blunt.
Dragnets. How do they work? Just say no. Yeah. Here's the problem with just saying no. You can go about your life trying not to do drugs, but you turn on the news and you see Wigmaster over there talking about public health emergencies. That's why drugs are hard to stop. Because of people like that. Big week. It's always a big week. Can't we please have an uneventful week? That's all I want. All I want is one.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing them dust blunt.
Oh, Jay, why are you wearing that resist shirt? What are you resisting? Bunch of isms and trees. Bigotry, misogyny, racism, fascism, and sexism. The people here are the people on the South Shore, in the rich neighborhoods, the richer neighborhoods, not the poor neighborhoods, are brought up on bigotry, hatred, and classification of, societal roles.
Hey, yo. Who's in the house? Dyze in your house. What goes on, peeps? It's Friday. It is, let's call it the afternoon. I'm Jay Porks, here with another action-packed edition of Dyze in your house. Coming to you on Least Coast Radio. Least Coast Radio for the least heard voices. What you can do to keep it locked to Least Coast Radio to get all of the latest J Porks podcasting excursions. You could subscribe on iTunes. Just search for Least Coast Radio. You could do the same thing on YouTube if you search for Least Coast Radio. Search for Dyze in your house. You can even type my government name in there. This is the pre-show, the post-show, the prelude to Monday's J Porks podcast. Now, I teased last week that everyone should listen to the J Porks to Dyze in your house this week and to the J Porks podcast this week, because I was going to have some big news. And I did. I did something a little different this week, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. I just want to get to a couple of quick hits here. You heard it in the open. I kid, and I say that it seems that Ronnie Jackson is from Staten Island. That's not because of his accent. That's not because of the way he dresses. That's because, have you guys seen the news stories coming out about the White House physician, Dr. Ronnie Jackson? So, first it came out that he may overprescribe sleeping pills to people. Okay, these are government officials who have to get on planes and they go far. So, like, if you need a sleep aid, alright, I mean, that's how addiction starts, but, it's neither here nor there. No. There was allegations that he was overprescribing Percocet, that he was banging on the door of a female White House government official. I don't know if it was a White House official, but a government official nonetheless. There was stories that Ronnie Jackson crashed a government vehicle. Fam, are you from Staten? Did I see you on the ferry? Is that where I met you? Is that where I know you from? I mean, you know this guy's got problems when he's over there saying that Trump is perfectly healthy, when this guy is a fat tub of lard. But to hear crashed a government vehicle after being under the influence of prescription drugs and being drunk all the time. Crazy. It's always new levels of ineptitude. And I'll wish it every week. I wish there was a week that can go by that didn't have any news. Maybe a week where we could not talk about things. But that's crazy. He was already unqualified because the VA is like the largest healthcare provider in the world, in the country at least. And he's like an admiral. He's never actually run a big, like, corporate... He's never run anything besides, like, a troop. I don't know what admirals do, but they don't run large healthcare providers. They don't do that. And besides, I don't even think he ever expressed any desire to do that. So, his nomination is on the back burner. It's withdrawn. Mike Pompeo just squeaked by the Senate for Secretary of State with 57 yes votes to 48, I believe 48's the number, no votes. Now, think about diplomacy for a second. Think about when you send the Secretary of State over to other countries to talk about bringing peace in the Middle East and peace in Korea and stuff like that. And you're another country and you say to yourself, hey, I know you're here to negotiate peace between us, but you couldn't even negotiate peace between Democrats and Republicans in Congress to get them to confirm you. What's up with that? You know? Sometimes you just turn your head, you tilt it, and you say, what's up with that? Because what's up with that? And listen, we can get our panties in a bunch over Korea, North Korea, South Korea talking. We could, but we're not. And we here at Least Coast Radio, me, Jay Porks, not a foreign policy expert, but we will cover a little bit more about Korea on the Korean Peninsula. Peninsula. It's a fun word to say, isn't it? Peninsula. I'm stupid. We'll cover that a little bit on the Jay Porks podcast. We'll talk about it if there's anything to talk about. But let's talk about what I did this week. So I gotta get a new job. I haven't been fired from my job, don't worry. But I need to get a new job because the school year is ending. And I'm gonna need to do something over the summer anyway. So what I decided to do was to look into these midterm campaign things. Like, there's a midterms are coming up. And, you know, they matter. And I talk about that a lot. But they do. So I was looking into all these non-profit organizations to try to get a job. Because listen, I don't make tons of money at school. I could make the same amount of money being a field, a canvasser. So that's what I did. So I went over to this place called Amnesty International. Now before I get into, you know, I just want to say that, like, what the organization Amnesty International is doing, it's pretty good stuff. I mean, they campaign on stuff I agree with. So I have nothing but the utmost respect for, like, organizations that do things like that send people on the streets to help campaign about awareness. So I'm going to talk to you about what this is. So basically, I spent the week on the street trying to get people to become members of Amnesty International. And I'm not going to explain, basically they were campaigning on Syria. I'm not going to explain the pitch, because then that's just basically doing the job for free here, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to explain to you what the job is. First, let me just say that if you don't work, you should get in touch with Amnesty International, because they are hiring tons of people, training tons of people. You get paid training. to find out if it's a job for you, and then you get to make the decision whether that's a job you want to do or not. So, I mean, the reason why I can't take the job is not because I can't do it, but it's because I have a job. And this is the type of job where, you know, you have to constantly have people signing up for this thing because they can't afford to pay people, you know, after the 2 weeks of paid training, where you get what I get now from the school. After the 2 weeks of paid training, you get $15 an hour, and then later on you get $16.50, and it goes up to $18 if you stay on long enough. The problem with that is that the way it works out is that they can only have on so many people. They can only have on the people that perform. So therefore, you know, you have a week, or you have 2 weeks once you become a full-time employee. Once you pass the training phase, you have a week or you have 2 weeks to get about $100 or so worth of memberships. There's not donations. You're not on the street asking for money. You're on the street trying to get people to sign up for this organization that helps fight human rights injustices around the world. So what I was basically on the street telling people, concerned for human rights? Concerned for human rights? Help us stop violence against women and children? So you gotta get something that tries to get them to stop. And here's where the second part of my beef with this is. The first beef I have with this job is that I need job security. I mean, I get the hustler's mentality, I get the go-getter mentality, and I get that in some businesses that might work in terms of motivating employees. For somebody like me, I live with extremely high levels of anxiety, and I can't be on the way to work not sure if I'm gonna have this job in 2 weeks or whatever. Now listen, it's not that you don't meet the number and they fire you. That's not what it is. They put you under review. It's this thing called review. And then you go and they talk to you about like ways to try to, you know, maybe you're not talking to people right. Maybe you're not personable. Maybe this job isn't for you. Some people are not personable. Some people are scared. Shy, I should say. Not scared. You're not scared. Some people just don't want to talk to people. That doesn't make you scared. That, you know, some people would rather keep to themselves. And I get that. Me, obviously, you know, I'm not that kind of person. So the going up to people on the street wasn't the issue with me. And if the job was, if they said, hey, you'll get the same pay you got at school, only you're going to spend your days going up to people, spreading the word about, you know, human rights and trying to get people to sign up for our organization, I'd be down with that. I would definitely be down with that, but that's not what it is. It's constant changeover. People are constantly training, people are constantly leaving. People are constantly not making the cut. And I get it. It's a good job if you're looking for a job. But at least for 4 weeks I have a job. So I'll spend my time looking for something that's more apt for me. I know most of the campaign jobs are volunteer jobs. But I really thought, now hear me out, because I'm not making $1 million at school. School is not a high-paying job. So I thought that there would be some way where I can help people, where I can, like, have a job and do things I believe in. I thought that would be a thing that would be possible. I thought, like, hey, if I really, truly believe in this stuff, like, you know, the pitch was basically about the Syrian refugee crisis. I believe in that. I don't think that people should die. Like, I'm not lying. I'm not spewing a company line there, you know. That's how I am. So, I thought that there would be a place where, hey, I'm going to go to this organization. I'm going to have democratic values for real. It's not going to be phony. And because it's for real, I'm going to be able to get the job and keep it and make money. That's not the way life works. If you're somebody who's liberal like me, you have to, if you're somebody who's Jewish, you have to work in a Catholic school and go to fucking church once a week. And you have to, if you're somebody who's been to public school their whole life, you have to go work in a Catholic school where people pay for school. And if you didn't grow up with any money, you have to work with snobby rich kids who don't know the meaning of hard work, don't know the meaning of education, don't know what a struggle is. But anyway, let's get into the second part of why the job wasn't a fit for me. So I'm on the street, and listen, being on the street in the summer, it's not a bad gig. Not arguing with that. But I would go up to people concerned with human rights. Help me stop violence against women and children today. Just give me 30 seconds of your time. Now, I wasn't asking for money. I didn't have a bucket. This place does not take cash. There is no cash money. It's just about getting people to sign up. So, when people would look at me and say no, okay, the first couple of times I was like, alright. But then, like, when I'm like, hey, are you concerned with human rights? Look me dead in the face and say, no, thank you so much. You're not concerned with human rights? So you mean to tell me that you're only... So what about, like, these people, they say they're not concerned with you. Like, I feel like I already work for this place. But, like, you say you're not concerned with human rights, but then you want to cry and complain that Facebook has your information? Which human right? So you only care about your human rights. So you only care about your selfish rights, you selfish piece of garbage. And you wonder why the country is where it is right now? I don't wonder this. I don't wonder it at all. I've been given a new appreciation. I've been given a new glimpse into why America became the way it is. And it is not getting better. And if there is too many, there is too high of a percentage of people who do not care. And I'm not saying that people should have came up to me and signed up with Amnesty International. I'm not saying that. Not everyone has the whatever money it is a month. What I'm saying is that there was a lot of people that looked like they had 30 seconds to spare. Because all I need, like, you could have let me talk to you. And like when I'm going to a concert and I go to the city and I find myself in the city and I'm not in a complete rush to go somewhere, I find myself, if somebody wants to talk to me, I always start with saying, listen, I don't have money, but I will listen to you talk. And then they talk. And then they try to get money. And I say, listen, I don't have money, but thank you for, you know, my support, or I don't support what you're doing. A couple of people said to me, I voted for Trump. When I said, support human rights? Concerned with human rights? They said, I voted for Trump. Well, I guess you're not concerned with human rights. I'm not saying sign up for Amnesty International. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if there's somebody on the street who's being friendly, like basically most of my stuff was, hey, how are you? Like I'd start with, hey, you look nice. You look like somebody who's concerned with human rights. There was one point where I was on the street. I was screaming, not screaming, but like I'm way better at screaming. Like this job, I would do good at it if I was able to stand on a milk crate and scream to a crowd of people. But people passing on the street and trying to one-on-one engage them, I'm not very good with one-on-one conversation. I'm good with like a group setting. So like, I would tell people there'd be a group of people, I'd be like, human rights are everyone's rights. Change my mind. Change my mind. You know, like that guy from the meme from the movie I didn't see, so I don't know what I'm actually referencing. But some girl turned around, she was like, I appreciate that reference. Enough to hear me for 30 seconds? No. Okay. It's fun. It's fine. I get it. It's not what I thought. The job is not what I thought it would be. So therefore, this morning, Friday morning, I sent the travel manager or whatever, I sent the guy who did the orientation, I sent him a text, and I said that I would not be able to take the position, even if I got it. Because in your first week, you need to get in your first 3 days, you need to get 3 people to sign up for Amazon, and then in the second week, you need to get $100 in memberships, and then after that, you are officially a member of the team. So, like, we were looking at a situation where that thing wasn't even gonna go in my Twitter bio for another 3 weeks. It's just not. It's not for me. But like, if you have a job at that organization that was like, you know, doing cold calls or knocking on doors, something that is just an hourly rate to spread the word, I would do that. But spreading the word is not profitable, and it's capitalism, and I get it. I understand that job is not available to people like me. People like me have to work in Catholic school. People like me have to hear about Jesus for 7 hours a day. And people like me have to hear teachers say that kids who watch their friends get killed are being babies and drawing up attention for a pretend gun crisis. Air quotes. I have to sit with Republicans. I have to listen to kids joke around about politics like it's funny, like it's normal. Normalizing it. Making jokes. I have to sit in a class with people with Trump wallpaper on their Google Chromebooks. Normalizing it. That's what I have to do. Because people like me who deserve a job in doing humanitarian things don't get it. Because life sucks. Life is not for you. That's just basically how things work. The only way the world, the earth, will be a happy place is if Jay Porks is suffering, making less than minimum wage at some menial job that means nothing. That means absolutely nothing. A job I'm not needed at an agency that is an agency that employs me that knows nothing about the trade that they're employing people in. That's what I deserve. Because this is what I must have harmed someone in a past life. I must have done something. Because I am not allowed to do something that is worth a shit in life. And it's fucked up. And yeah, I'm a little aggravated about it. It aggravates me that I can't get this shit together. It aggravates me that, you know, I don't have any skills. And that I put off my whole life learning how to do jobs. And now comes the point where I need a job and I don't have any fucking skills, man. I have the skill of talking and being somewhat humorous and having a big personality and like being able to and caring about things I talk about, like on my podcast. I have skills with, like, you know, getting to concerts too, but they don't pay you for that. And besides, they might have yonder bags there. I'm talking about yonder bags on the podcast. It's a shame, man. And they're texting me right now. I just got a text from the people out in the field. You know, listen. Am I bitter? Yeah. I'm not bitter at this organization. I'm bitter at the world, man. Because my whole life, I was always under the assumption that if you weren't a scumbag, if you didn't screw people over, like, intentionally, if you didn't go out of your way to be a terrible person, I was always under the impression that things would work out for you. And I'm not saying that I need to be a millionaire. I'm just saying that I can't find a place to give me the same minimum wage crap that I'm getting at the Catholic school, that I'm getting from the Archdiocese of America. You telling me I can't find a job that I don't hate, that pays that much? I just think it's just mind-boggling to me. And it never ceased to amaze me. J Porks, Dyze in your house.